ways that you can get this done. However, I have my special way of teaching it. So I'm going to show you my special way. So each of you by now should have a sewing kit. Within your sewing kit, you should have a sewing sample that should look just like this. You should have a needle. Your needle should be in your needle holder. And you should have pins, depending on what class you're in and what you're sewing, depends on how many pins you have. And you should also have a button. This kit has two buttons. There's a 4-hole button and there's a 2-hole button. If you're in 6th grade or 7th grade, you'll most likely have that one. And 8th grade, you will be learning how to use 4-hole buttons. So right now I'm going to teach you how to actually thread your needle. The first thing you should do with your sewing kit is write your name. You want to write your name up under where it says sewing sample. This is so if you lose it, I know it's yours. So I wrote Miss Robinson on mine. You should all write your name on yours. All right. So I want you to be sure that your desk is completely clear of whatever you have on your desk so that you won't lose anything. Then you're going to take out your needle. Okay. Miss Robinson is going to come around and give each of you some thread. Your thread, the length of your thread does not matter at this point because the first thing you're going to be sewing is a button. But I'm going to teach you now how to thread your needle. You're all going to get some thread, and Miss Robinson is going to come around and use that thread. I keep the thread and my scissors in my sewing apron. I know it says Junior Chef. I'm going to change that so that it says sewing apron. But now you have your thread. Now, if you look at poster number 2 and poster number 3 around the classroom, you should have taken notes on this as well. But your posters tell you the different type of needles. The needle that 6th and 7th grade use is a 1-eye needle. Let me see if you can see that. That means that your needle has one hole in it. Okay? With that hole is called the eye. The first thing you're going to do is take your thread and you're going to slide it through the eye of that needle. A lot of people like to lick the thread. I'm not licking the thread. Too many germs. I just do it the hard way. So you slide your thread through the eye of the needle. Once you have it through, let me show you so you can see it a little bit. Can you see? No, can't see. Once you have your thread through the eye of the needle, the next step is to make the strings even. So you want to take your thread and make sure that both sides is even. And that's just about as even as it's going to get over here. Now, using the hand that you write with. So Miss Robinson is right-handed, so she's going to use her right hand. You're going to grab your needle. You hold your needle up just like this. Okay? Now you take your left hand, the other hand, you're going to make the letter L. When you make your L, you have your pointer finger and your thumb finger. Using the tips of those two fingers, you're going to grab at the bottom. Now you leave a little tail. You don't want to leave too much because then you're taking away from your thread. But you leave just a little tail. So you grab it. You continue to hold this up with your right hand. Now you're going to wrap it only around your pointer finger. So you wrap only around your pointer finger. So if you're only using your pointer finger, your thread is going to slide in between the two. Watch. It slides right in. Okay? Now, I like to call this trick the row, row, row your boat. You sing the song. Row, row, row your boat. You just rolling your fingers back and forth. Row, row, row your boat. Now, eventually, your thread is going to slide down off of your fingernail. Once that happens, you're going to pull. Pull your needle. You pull. You see, I never let go. I pull it. There's my knot. See? You have a knot. I'm going to do those steps again for you. If for some reason your knot becomes too small, you go back, you grab that knot, you wrap it around only your pointer finger, you roll, roll, roll the boat, and you pull. Now you have another knot, just like that. Okay? That is how you thread your needle and tie your knot. The next thing you want to do is learn, the next step we do is sew on your button. Now, grab your sewing sample. You have 2 empty spots. 1, 2. You want to use those 2 spots to sew on your button. So, I'm going to put my button on this side, okay, right there. So, if I want my button on there, the first thing I have to do is slide my needle through the back side. You see? My needle is coming right through from the back. You pull it all the way until it stops. Now you have a flying carpet. I'm holding my needle. There's my flying carpet. The next step, you want to pick one of your holes. One, only one. And slide it right down your thread. Now you have a flying carpet with the needle, with the button. Bop, 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 bop. Should look just like this. Okay? Now if you look, you have one hole that has no thread going through it. Your next step is to what I call the dolphin stitch, because dolphin goes up and down. This is the same thing you're going to do with this stitch. You're going to take your needle and poke it right through that hole. See? And you pull. Pull. Just like that. Now it's time to come back through. When you're coming back through, you hold it up. You locate that knot, because that knot is telling you where your first hole went through, where your first hole is. Once you find that knot, you slide it right back through. You're going to do this 4 times. Up and down, the dolphin stitch 4 times. Up and down. So now I'm on my 3rd one. 4 times. And let's just say do it a 5th time for good luck. 5th. Alright. Now I have completed it 5 times. You want to make sure once you've done, your thread is coming from the back side, okay? So now you should have what looks like this. You have a knot, and then you have some thread going back and forth between the 2 holes. The next step, you want to now take your thread, your needle, and slide it through. Slide it right up under the thread, just like that. You see that? You want to do that 4 times. All you're doing is sliding through. Sliding right through. You have to be careful, because if you don't, it'll go through your sewing sample. You don't want to do that. You do it 4 times. Once you've done that 4 times, now it's time to tie your knot. When you tie your knot, you do it just like you tie your shoes. Wrap it around your hand, slide it through, and pull. Once you have done that, you have now sewed on your button, and you are free to cut. There you go. Those are the steps for threading a needle, tying a knot, and sewing on a button. Thank you.